好，嗯。 Let's do speech. Let's do speech, guys. Let's do speech. Speech. And efficiency. We're at 25%. That's enough to get us nowhere. That's where. Roadkill. Standing in the middle of the road is very dangerous. You get knocked down by the traffic from both sides. Margaret Thatcher. I've never met Hillary Clinton, although I tried when I became the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York in January 2002. I asked my assistant to arrange an introduction to the state's junior senator. I thought it was a standard thing for the United States Attorney. There were 4 of us representing the federal government in New York State to know the senators in the state, and I didn't want to be rude. I had met the other senator, Chuck Schumer, during the Senate composition process. But for some reason, I had not met Clinton after a number of attempts at multiple messages to Clinton's office we gave up. It wasn't a big deal at the time, but I found it odd to this day. I don't know why the meeting never happened. I suppose that years old war administrative support at Clinton's office. She was simply too busy. I suppose it could have been to the fact that 7 years earlier, I had worked for 5 months for the Senate Committee investigating Clinton for a variety of things grouped under the heading Whitewater. I was a junior lawyer for the committee, still working at a Richard law firm charging the Senate by the hour. My focus was largely on the suicide of the former deputy White House counsel. Vincent Foster and the handling of documents in his office. My role on the Whitewater Committee was so minor and short. I left the assignment with our son Colin died. When our son Colin died in August of 1995, and it seemed unlikely that was the reason the senator wasn't returning my calls. We're using the 2-page method, guys. 2 pages. Our son Colin died in August 1995. It seemed unlikely that was the reason the senator was returning my calls. The return messages in early 2002 were more likely due to the fact that my office was supervising an investigation on Senator Clinton's husband pardon of child oil trader Mark Rich a year earlier. The final hours of the Clinton presidency in 1983, Rich and his co-defendant had been indicted on 65 criminal counts by the United States. Leading to the among the counts were income tax evasion, wire fraud, racketeering, and trading with an enemy of the United States, Iran, who held dozens of Americans hostage. Rich fled the United States shortly before the indictment, then the biggest tax evasion case in U.S. history. He was given safe haven in Switzerland, which refused to extradite him for what considered essentially tax crimes. Nearly 2 decades later, on his final day in office, President Clinton had issued Rich a highly unusual pardon. It was unusual because the pardon was given to a fugitive, which was, to my knowledge, unprecedented. It was also unusual, suspicious, and because it had not gone through the normal review process at the Department of Justice, the pardon had only been seen by then Deputy Attorney General Eric Holder, who, without seeking input from prosecutors or agents who knew the case, cryptically told the White House he was He was neutral, leaning positive. The New York Times editorial board called the pardon a shocking abuse of federal power. Amid allegations, the pardon had been issued in exchange for pharmacist contributions. So we're at 33%. So we got enough to get to Hy-Vee and get our milk. Get our milk right here. We got a milk coupon. We'll get our milk and break our fast. You know. Yeah, we did the 2-page method. Fuck, dog, it's fucking sunny. Why is it so bright, bros?